So at the conclusion of the last video, we had our G code finished, which means we can start the printing process. So here we're going to look at that process and look at some footage from the process itself, and then look at our final part and see what we get. So let's get into it. So at this stage in the print, we're about halfway done with the cup holders, and you can really see the infill pattern taking effect here. Here at this point in the print, we're working on the handle base, that cylindrical part in the middle. And if you recall, this is where we chose to add extra perimeters for extra strength. So if you look here, you can really see the extra solid walls there, and that's the extra perimeters that we set up. At this point in the print, it's almost done. And we're working on the handle, and you can see that that 45-degree angle we chose, it's worked out really well. That hasn't had any problems being printed. This is right after taking the print off the printer, and it's looking good. You can definitely see a couple loose strings of plastic, just really thin strands. We're going to do some sanding and heat gun treatment and smooth that all out. So this is the part, this is the cup holder. This is after came off the print bed. I did just a little bit of finishing work, just some very fine-grained sanding, a little bit of heat gun treatment, and then I washed it off in the sink and let it dry it off. And this is the result. So let's just take a look at this for a minute and just kind of understand and appreciate like how the design that we built in CAD actually looks in real life. So let's look over here and see like what did we have as the original design and what did we actually produce, right? We have a holder, we've got 4 cup holders, it'll hold 4 cups. Still got the handle, not quite as wide as we initially envisioned. The handle base isn't quite as wide as we initially envisioned, but ultimately it looks pretty much the same. So how does it work? Let's put it to the test. So what I've done is I've got 2 of the glasses, literally the glasses I use in the morning, and I put them in. Immediately we have a few observations. So first off, it looks like the cup is touching the handle base a little bit. This is something I didn't even consider in the design phase. You might remember I didn't have any consideration to this. I focused on the holder well itself. I didn't think about the fact that the cup is still angled and getting wider as you go higher, perhaps to the point where it's going to touch the handle base. In my opinion, this can definitely be improved in a future iteration, but I'm not really bothered by this. I think this is fine. The other thing that happens, I'm gonna try and just do this once because the clanking is kind of loud. So if you put 2 cups adjacent to each other, they do contact each other. Again, this isn't a big deal at all, I think. I mean, these cups are built to be able to certainly be in contact with each other. That is not a big deal. It's just a little bit annoying. If, again, in a future iteration, ideally, we could increase the separation between the 2 holders. Absolute worst case, we go down to 3 holders, that'll definitely fix it, but I think that it should be possible to further optimize the spacing and prevent these cups from contacting each other or the handle base. But now let's think about what we were trying to solve, right? I had 3 cups precariously held in 2 hands, and my goal was to fit them into a holder and just hold that with 1 hand. So, and I wanted it to be secure. I wanted to make sure that the cups weren't going to fall out. So, let's see. So that's a good sign. Look at this. I mean, I'm not sure, maybe I can go 90 degrees. I don't want to take this too far, but these are actually held pretty dang secure. I'm pretty happy with this result. This is good. And I can hold it like this, no problem. Now, in the design phase in the CAD, I was imagining, maybe I can hold it like this, but in fact, there's just not enough space to do that. I mean, I could hold it like this. That works. It's actually viable to do it this way. It is a little bit weird. Maybe a funny hybrid approach like this will work, but really, I think in practice, I'm going to use this starting tomorrow. I think this will work just fine. And I have my goal. I have this in one hand. I can hold up to 4 glasses. This feels sturdy to me. I think we made a good call on the number of perimeters in the handle. And I'm going to see in practice how it holds up in terms of could there be any separation at layers. I think that the curvature has been expressed well, so hopefully that helps mitigate that just a little bit. But overall, I'm really happy. I think that, so to summarize, what needs to be improved, a couple things. In the design phase, you might remember that we kind of discovered that the part exceeded the print dimensions both in X, Y, and in Z at different phases. And we discovered that after measuring the results, after applying different constraints. Instead, I think that we can focus on, because we know that the part is already kind of at the limits of the print bed, we can take that into account to begin with and say, okay, this is the maximum diameter of the base that we can have, and this is the maximum height that we can have. Maybe I'll set, say, the maximum height to 205, maximum diameter to 205 also works, maybe some tweaking there. And then we can let other variables be unconstrained. Perhaps for the X and Y, the holder can be unconstrained. In other words, we will set the diameter of the holder base such that we achieve maximum separation between the cup holder wells, and we still abide by that maximum, let's say 205 millimeter diameter. For sure, we can prevent the glasses from touching the handlebar. We can prevent them from touching each other. I'm positive about that. What else can be improved? Well, this only holds 4. So in the problem statement and in the concept phase, we kind of said, I want at least 4 cups to be able to be held at once. Well, what about more? This is a perfectly cylindrical base for the cup holders, but my print bed is not square. So the maximum dimensions there are 210 by 250. I'll have to double check that, but I believe it's 210 by 250. If it's not 250, it's 230, but I believe it's 250. Either way, it's not square, which means instead of a circular base, we could also change this to be an elliptical base. Or even it could be rounded off rectangular base. And especially if we go that route, have a rounded off rectangular base, the handle might not have to be like this. Maybe there are 2 bars that come out that are individually skinnier, that allows for an easier grip. We would have to see how that looks like in CAD to see how viable that is and sketch it up. But I think that other base designs would allow for some other possibilities as far as how this is held, and also still making sure that the cups are separated from the handles and from each other, and also hold more cups. And also, if we have this alternative handle placement, it might make it really easy to the point where we don't have to worry about do we have enough vertical clearance, because the maximum height that we can print is 210 millimeters, and this is basically there. So having a horizontal grip like this just might not be feasible with this design, but with an alternative design, maybe we can make that happen. I think there are a lot of possibilities here, But as a first iteration, I think that this is really good, really promising, and I can start using this today. So I'm really happy how this turned out. And that's about it. So thank you for joining me on this design journey. I have already outlined a whole bunch of ways this can be improved, so probably look forward to a version 2 in the future, maybe even, 2 variants of it. And I'm looking forward to producing some more content on it. So thanks again, and I'll see you all in the next one.